Good morning, YouTube. This is Leslie coming at you from Denmark. It is 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's Monday, and this is my week 5 update, and I am really excited. I've got a lot to talk about. I've got a lot on my mind. I'll start with the numbers, which we all like. This week I weighed in, let me start over. My highest weight ever was 287 pounds. Well, 86.6, so I just rounded up to 87. At surgery, I weighed 267 pounds, so I'd lost 20 pounds pre-op. And this week, I weighed in at 251.3 pounds. Now, that gives me a loss of 4.7 pounds this past week, which is amazing because I have been a very atypical case where my first week I lost just shy of 9 pounds, and then the next 2 weeks after that, my weight pretty much stood still. Nothing really happened. The third week I lost, the fourth week I lost 2 pounds, which was encouraging, and now I've lost 4.7 pounds. It's almost 5 pounds in 1 week. I'm so stoked. Altogether, since surgery, I've lost 15.7 pounds over 5 weeks, which again is not stellar, but I'm happy. I really am. And if I take my pre-op loss into account, then I'm actually just over 35 pounds. So that's, again, is fine. Like I said, I'm so excited about this past week. I think some things have finally kind of clicked into place for me, which I'm really excited about, and I'm going to talk about that, coming up here. One of the things that I think, well, I don't know, I'm not quite sure exactly how things clicked into place. Part of it, I think, is the fact that I've started working again. I just did a weekend at work, a work weekend, and I had 12-hour shifts, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And of course I was busy, but luckily not so busy at work that I couldn't, take the breaks I needed. And I actually did really well with my eating, and it's always been that way for me when I'm at work, because at work, when I know I'm going to work for a 12-hour shift especially, I know I have to be structured, and I take good, I'll take food options with me. And I'll tend to be more structured about my eating because I have, breaks. We have certain intervals, So, and luckily we were busy, but we weren't so busy that I couldn't get out there, which does happen at times. But luckily I was able to, do breaks. I would do because I'd go to work at 7, and then I'd have like a mid-morning break around 10, and I'd go have, a snack with like some cheese and, things like that. And then at lunch, of course, I'd have whatever I brought for lunch, and then I'd have a mid-afternoon snack, and then I've actually even been doing like like something around 5, like a little snack, and then come home at 7, and then I'd have something small to eat, with Peter, and so yeah, I ended up getting these 5 meals in, and whereas at home, I struggle with it a little bit more because I'm not nearly as structured, but I'm seeing that I probably need to transfer that structuring, that level of structure and organization, to my life in general, also, when I'm not working. So I feel really good about it. Now, one of the purposes with this video is a video response to MzFreeSpirited. She did a video last week on her breaking point, and she was talking about how her breaking point has actually just been real recently, and for her it was about taking care of herself and realizing that she needed to put herself first and not use all her energy focusing on helping other people, and focusing that she needed to focus, well, of course, on her family, but on herself and what she herself needed to make a success of this journey. And while our issues are not the same, she made me think. And she made me ask myself this question. I have some notes here. I asked myself, what is it that's holding me back from getting on with my journey? Because, I was one of these people who was really well prepared. I mean, when I went to my pre-op, appointments with the nutritionist and the surgeon, especially the nutritionist, was, very impressed with my level of knowledge. There wasn't really anything new that she could tell me. I knew everything. I'd read everything. I'd watched so many YouTube videos. I've done so much, research on the net. And, she couldn't tell me so much. So I thought that I was quite prepared. And I knew that there's a lot of things you can't prepare yourself for. That, you just have to do it, get into it, and then, try it. And then, until you get to that point, you don't know. And I found out that that's been very true for me, because while I had read about everything I need to do, I found that once I was living it, I was having a hard time accepting the changes that were necessary. I was trying to rationalize a lot of things. And then, you know what, there's some things that I did rationalize that I still agree with, because I'm stubborn, and because, I'm a nurse, and I am used to critical thinking, and I evaluate things, and I'm not going to believe things just because a doctor says it. He's going to have to convince me that he knows what he's talking about. I don't believe in one size fits all. We're all different. We all have different bodies. And, some of the things that are out there, I think are just for the birds. I mean, seriously, I do. I really do. I'm very skeptical. I've worked with too many doctors. I know they're human, not that they don't know what they're talking about. Most of them do. Of course, they're educated, and there's a reason they're doctors, and there's a reason why they recommend what they do. But I also know that they're human, and they're not always, they don't always know everything. I've worked with too many not to know this. So I have a very healthy portion of skepticism when I, listen to the advice of doctors. Because, this one plan, that they develop for their post-op patients, and you've got thousands of people coming through, that's not going to work for everyone. And I just don't believe it. So, that's just my particular brand of stubbornness. But I did realize that that some of what I was doing was rationalizing things to suit my own I don't know, I guess desires or wants or what have you. I found myself kind of, like self-sabotaging in some senses. And I was having a hard time getting excited about doing exercise and that sort of thing. But I have definitely seen a good response to increased physical activity, and I'm definitely going to work on incorporating more physical activity into my routines. That's just going to have to become a part of my life, and I look forward to it, and I know that my body will thank me for it. I really know it will. And one of the main things I saw was that, the so-called fat girl mentality, a negative twist to my thought patterns. I was not rejoicing in what I had achieved, we've I've heard a lot about comparing yourself to others on Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, and how we shouldn't do it. And of course, in theory, I agree with that, but you know, we all know how hard it is not to. And actually, in week 2 and 3, where I was really struggling with, you know, the weight standstill that I was at, I found myself just actually not even, not really even going on Facebook. Or if I was doing Facebook, or I keep saying Facebook, I'm mental. Not even going on YouTube. Or when I was on YouTube, I would not really follow people who were at the same stage as me. So I preferred to see people farther down the line or pre-op or whatever, because it was too hard to watch people who were on the same week as me and they were losing like massive amounts, and here I was, you know, just struggling on by. And I couldn't understand it because, you know, my calorie intake was not very high, and my proteins, you know, intake was good, and I had a hard time seeing what the problem was. And honestly, I still don't really know for sure, you know. I mean, I'm sure there were some things I could have done different, but I kind of think that my body just, you know, just wasn't going to do it at that point. So for whatever reason, my body has just, you know, required some more adjustment. And you know, and again, I probably wasn't getting as much protein as I should. I haven't been the best to document. I do use MyFitnessPal, but I'm a bit sporadic about it. Also because sometimes I just, like, the food that I'm eating just isn't in there, and I don't always get around to putting the data in myself. So, you know, again, that's just a bit of laziness there. So I'm gonna have to improve that, you know, so that I can better track what I'm eating. But back to the mentality, is just I realized that I needed to be rejoicing in this process and rejoicing in whatever progress I make, and I was not allowing myself to do that. So that's one of my major goals now, is to work on being more positive, and you know, just appreciating what the opportunity I've given myself, and appreciating myself in general. And I think, you know, for me now, I realize that having the surgery, getting to that point to have the surgery and actually having it, is kind of like the smallest part of all this. Now, like, the major part is working on me and improving my mentality and improving my skills as far as adapting to this new lifestyle that I'm going to be leading. And you know, so that's my main goal now, is to work on my mentality and to become just more positive, and you know, just rocking it, you know. Just, you hear that expression a lot, but yeah, really. I started thinking about why this was, why was my mentality the way it was, and why was I struggling. And I realized that, you know, my life has been really chaotic lately. I have just had so many challenges, so many things going on. You know, just before my surgery, my mother became very ill, and I flew to Texas to be with her. I was there for 2 weeks, and that was like, and you know what, and literally, I flew back to Denmark, landed like Sunday afternoon, came home and crashed because I was exhausted, jet lagged, what have you. Got up the next morning and went to the hospital and had my surgery because they actually moved it back a day from when it was supposed to be on the Tuesday, and they moved it to Monday. So, you know, stress much. And then I had my surgery, and I had about 2 weeks of post-op peace, where I was able to, you know, to recover, and I was doing pretty good at 2 weeks, feeling pretty good. And then my grandmother became ill, and I thought about it for like a day, and I realized that I wasn't going to have any peace of mind. So I got on a plane and I went back to Texas, and I was there for 2 weeks. And I was there with my grandmother, which I'm very thankful for, that I got to have some time with her. you know, these are the two most important women in my life, and suddenly they're both, you know, getting sick. And so I was with my grandmother and I saw her, and I'm very pleased about that. So now that if I don't see her before I go to Texas in April, well, then at least I have taken the time and been with her, and I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity for that. And the only reason I did was because I was out sick because of the surgery. I had 4 weeks of sick leave. So you know, I was very fortunate that I had that possibility, and I was fortunate that I had, you know, the money on hand. Here in April, I'm going to be moving to Texas permanently, so that's kind of taken a bit out of all this travel. Has really put a dent in my savings, which is a little bit worrisome for me. But you know, so be it. Family's most important. So with all this going on, and with a move imminent, and with making a transfer to the States, and having to sit the board exams, you know, for my nursing license, which I'll also have to do once I get there, and you know, just everything. It's just like I haven't had time to really, you know, work with myself, or really, you know, it's just everything is so chaotic, and I just really wish even now that I could like had a pause button that I could push and just give myself like a month just to breathe and relax, but I don't have that. I don't. So I'm just gonna soldier on through it, and hopefully at some point I will have time to work on being mindful, and more mindful when I'm eating, because I find that I'm having to work again on chewing my food, eating slowly, and being mindful of not drinking before or after my meals. In the beginning I was very good at it, and then for a little while I kind of forgot about it, and now I'm getting back into it because I'm just realizing how important it is. I've had a few episodes of eating too quickly and then being very uncomfortable, and even once, well, actually I'm not sure if it was because I ate too quickly or if the food was too greasy, but one time I actually got sick. That was this past week, and it surprised me because I had gotten salad with like grilled chicken on top, and I thought that would be really good, and I ate it, and 30 minutes later you know, so I'm, like I said, it may have been very, you know, too greasy, or it may have just been that I ate too fast because I was, you know, in mixed company, so to speak. You know, it was with family, and I just, you know, wasn't mindful. I need to work on getting my fluids in, because, you know, I realize that I am having a hard time getting, you know, enough water in. But again, it's just a point of being mindful about it. And so, you know, and you know, like when I was making my notes for this, I wrote down that I need to catch up on my skills, these skills for coping, you know, or living with my sleep, because I'm behind. And then the funny thing is that I realized now when I look at this, that it's like, again, this is like a negative thought. I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm behind, you know, I need to catch up. And I realize, you know, no, this is my journey, you know, I don't have to catch up. I have to learn these things, but instead of thinking about how I need to catch up, I need to think, yeah, well, I've got to learn them, you know, and not beat myself up for being 5 weeks along in my journey and then not having these things down. Again, you know, comparing myself to others. So it's, you know, this whole mentality thing is just, you know, it's kind of mind-blowing. And I know this video is going on long. I'm really sorry. And if anyone is still sticking around to watch this, I really appreciate this, because this is really long. I want to thank, you know, the new subscribers. I've picked up a few more. I can't believe that, you know, 38, 39 people actually are interested in what I have to say. It's really wonderful. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate everyone's outfit out there, the different videos people are doing. We've all got to keep it up because we're all helping each other. And I definitely got a lot out of MzFreeSpirited. Lady, I really like you. I like your personality, and I like what you have to say, and I hope to hear more from you. I guess that's about what I need to say. I've certainly been talking long enough. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I look forward to hearing more from all of you, and I hope everyone does well this week or in the coming weeks or the future, whatever. I wish you all very much success. I look forward to seeing your updates, and God bless. Bye-bye.